Aelin Galathinius faces an empire on the brink of ruin, yet every step toward freedom tightens the snares around her throne. Beat. Welcome to a storm of destiny, where loyalty and love collide with dark, immortal power. Gathering storm clouds, long before the first thunderclap, Aelin Ashriva Galathinius understood that crowns are forged not of gold, but of blood, fire, and unbreakable will. Beat. Now, returned to Terrasen under her true name, she discovers that the lords she hoped to rally view her as an upstart exile, rather than their queen. Beat. Undaunted, Aelin shapes a fragile plan: unite scattered forces and march against Erewhon, the Valg king who schemes to hollow out the continent. Yet her greatest obstacle is time itself, for each passing night births new horrors from Morath. Beat. Across the waves, Rowan Whitethorn rides wind and wing to rejoin his mate. His mission seems simple, yet he carries a secret bargain that could bind them all to Maeve's cruel whims. Beat. Every mile he crosses is haunted by the memory of chains Aelin once wore, fueling his fierce vow to never again let her stand alone. Beat. Meanwhile, Dorian Haviliard, the young king reborn from darkness, grapples with the tantalizing pull of his own raw magic. He must choose whether to mask his power behind a princely smile or wield it like a blade beside Aelin. Beat. The world watches, and so do the Valg princes hunting fresh vessels. Beat. On the fringes, Manon Blackbeak tests the brittle edges of witch loyalty. The shadows whisper that she is not merely wing leader, but bearer of an ancient prophecy. Emphasis, destiny, crackles through her every doubt as she questions the killing orders of her coven. Beat. In breaking a single command, she fractures centuries of witch hierarchies, sending shockwaves that rattle the Iron Teeth legions. This section thrums with tension because the stakes are now impossibly vast. Aelin must earn a crown she already wears. Allies must conquer mistrust, and foes barely seen manipulate whole kingdoms like chess pieces. Beat. As these storm clouds gather, readers feel the static of impending war vibrating in every exchanged glance and whispered threat. Allies and adversaries. Aelin's small court becomes a crucible where friendship, passion, and betrayal melt together. Beat. Lysandra, once a courtesan, now stands as shapeshifter guardian of Terrasen's future. Her ability to become a sea dragon or a silent assassin gives the fledgling army an unpredictable edge. Yet the greatest transformation lies within her heart. She believes for the first time that she is more than a weapon. Beat. Even so, her journey is laced with fear that any slip could cost the child Evangeline a mother figure she never truly had. Beat. Lorcan Salvaterre lurks at the perimeter, blades sharp, motives sharper. He wears Maeve's tattoo, yet marches to his own relentless drum. Beat. Attraction to Elide Locan turns his ruthless precision into a whirlpool of conflicting loyalties. Elide herself, small of stature but iron of spirit, moves through battlefields armed only with cunning and unquenchable hope that one day she will see her lady, Aelin, triumphant. Beat. Their tenuous bond illustrates a central theme: mercy can be a sharper sword than vengeance. Emphasis. Compassion. Opposition also breathes under the same canvas. Erewhon's monstrous cadre sow terror, capturing towns and testing forbidden Valg breeds. Karen, one of Morath's generals, hounds the heroes with a sadism that makes every captured refugee a ticking clock. Beat. The lines blur further when Maeve, the immortal Fey Queen, manipulates events from afar, proving that an ally today may be a tyrant tomorrow. Beat. Through councils by firelight, whispered vows at dusk, and explosive skirmishes beneath star-washed skies, Mars displays the messy, wonderful truth that alliances do not erase old wounds. Beat. They demand daily choices to forgive, to protect, and sometimes to sacrifice one cherished soul for the salvation of thousands. Beat. Every glance between Aelin and her companions reminds us that unity is not an act of standing shoulder to shoulder. It is the brutal, courageous decision to let someone else strike at your unguarded back. This emotional honesty gives their victories weight and makes their failures devastating. Beat. In Empire of Storms, camaraderie is both shield and spear, forged by relentless trial. Trials at sea and land. The story surges from silent libraries to roaring oceans, stitching a wild roadmap across Erilea. Beat. Maas transforms geography into character, and nowhere is this clearer than on the decks of the ship where Aelin's court sails towards Skull's Bay. Every creak of timber is infused with uncertain hope that pirate Lord Rolf might trade neutrality for revolution. Beat. Through games of negotiation, illusions, and daring rescues, Aelin proves that diplomacy can flash with the same lethal brightness as a sword. Beat. At sea, Lysandra dives into Leviathan form, sending waves crashing over enemy hulls. Emphasis. Maelstrom swallows Volg beasts, yet each victory burns precious stores of magic. Beat. The crew confronts a sobering truth. Power is not infinite, and every burst of flame or whirl of wind is drawn from an unseen ledger they cannot balance forever. Once ashore, they descend into marshes where ancient Wordgate keys may lie buried. Here, myth bleeds into reality. Beat. Aelin's fire and Dorian's ice weave a tapestry of elemental might, while Elid's mortal determination summons hidden passageways that centuries forgot. They face witches, skinwalkers, and the weight of prophecy itself. Beat. Sandwiched between enemies, they must interpret cryptic fey riddles that hint a gate can be sealed only by lives willingly offered. Beat. Simultaneously, Manon's journey fractures along rugged cliffs. Betrayed and broken, she is rescued by Aelin, an alliance no prophecy foretold, but everything intuition demands. Their convergence of witch's iron and queen's flame is electric. Beat. Through shared scars, they realize their oppressive histories are mirror images authored by different tyrants. Beat. This third movement crackles with cinematic pace. Sails snap in hurricane winds, wyverns scream from the skies, and subterranean tombs glow with rune-lit dread. Yet beneath the spectacle beats a more intimate trial. Each character digs through their own layers of grief and doubt to extract the singular truth of who they will fight for when the final storm breaks. Beat. In that crucible, heroism becomes deeply personal rather than abstractly righteous. The price of sacrifice. All roads converge on a revelation as blinding as dragonfire. Aelin's lineage harbours a secret binding she was never meant to escape. Beat. Maeve, with cruel precision, reveals that Aelin's flame is the lock and key to the Wordgate. To protect the world, she must yield her power, perhaps her life, into its hungry void. Beat. This knowledge detonates within the group like a thunderstrike. Rowan rages against fate. Dorian weighs his own royal duty. Lysandra prepares to don Aelin's form forever, ready to deceive entire kingdoms, so Terrasen does not fall. Beat. Each character stands on an emotional precipice, forced to ask whether the happiness of one justifies the survival of many. Emphasis. Sacrifice. Aelin, ever the master schemer, chooses agency even in chains. She bargains secretly with the gods, orchestrates a labyrinth of feints, and delivers herself to Maeve under conditions that spare her friends. Beat. The scene of her binding, iron coffin, whip crack of power dampeners, raining ash, embodies the novel's darkest hour. Beat. Yet in that suffocating box, Aelin clings to the ember of choice, proving that the heart of freedom cannot be captured. Beat. Parallel sacrifices echo across continents. Manon, accepting the role of wing leader for all witch clans, risks civil war to create a united front against Erewhon. Lorcan, once self-serving, unleashes lethal magic to protect Elide, fracturing his bond with Maeve. Beat. Each act reinforces the book's core assertion. When ordinary vows shatter, only sacrifice builds unbreakable oaths. By story's end, triumph and tragedy are inseparable. The hero's win passes through enemy lines, yet Aelin is dragged away in chains, her very fate a cliffhanger that makes every preceding victory taste bittersweet. Beat. The reader, like the characters, must sit in that unresolved space, feeling hope and dread twist together like twin strands of storm-lit lightning. Empire of Storms thus teaches that the price of a future is often paid in the present by those brave enough to wager everything, including their own lives, on the gamble that tomorrow will be better. Beat.